I did my case study over my cousin who is currently in the 5th grade. His name is Sam and he attends Blossom Elementary. He is not the biggest fan of reading. My aunt did say that he doesn't mind reading as long as it's a subject that he likes, which is usually anything that has to do with sports, mainly basketball or baseball. Otherwise, he's not into it. So once I did the parent interview, she said that his strengths is that he is a really fast learner and he's good with numbers, which is why he likes math. His weakness is that sometimes he struggles with drawing deeper meanings, which I personally did not see in the case study, but at the same time, it wasn't a super deep dive into the inferred meanings. Also, the other weakness that she included was that he tends to read a little bit too fast because he wants to get through it quick. They currently do not have a reading routine at home just because she has 3 kids. They all play sports. And she said that if it's, in between getting to bed at 9 o'clock or reading, she's going to get them to bed as soon as she can. Her only worry currently is how he'll adjust to reading once he transitions to middle school next year. With the teacher interview, his teacher has been a reading teacher. She's currently on her 7th year at Blossom. She said that they do an hour and 10 minutes every day for reading instruction. Independent reading kind of just depends on how much time they have throughout the day for independent reading. She spoke very briefly about the reading interventionist, and actually this is their first year that they've ever had one. And getting referred to the interventionist is dependent on their on the STAR scores. And she said ISIP reports. She also noted that Sam is a good fluent reader. And like my aunt said, his downside is that he will rush if the topic isn't interesting to him, which is also something that I noticed doing the case study with him. And the TAPR report was the 2022 accountability rating was a B. 5th grade reading percentage scored slightly above district and state levels, and 100% assessment participation for STAR at Blossom Elementary. So on to the assessment data that I gathered. With his writing sample, I included it over here to the right. So on his writing, everything that he wrote about was orderly. He used correct punctuation, correct capitalization. I think he had one misspelling on there. The biggest thing that I noticed during the writing sample was I felt like his handwriting could be a little bit neater. Other than that, nothing else stood out to me. On to the oral language screener, which was listing the certain categories. He averaged about 25.5 items listed per minute. One thing that I wanted to note on there was that he did really, really well on his states, and he actually listed them in alphabetical order. So he was able to get a lot listed when it came to that category. On the core vocabulary screening test, I administered Form 5A, and on that one he got 27 out of the 30 words correct. So on this one, I feel like he did pretty good. As far as the activity for enrichment with his vocabulary, I felt like synonym and antonym bingo would be something fun for him to do, where he could kind of figure out antonyms and synonyms and learn vocabulary through that. Onto the San Diego Quick Assessment. His independent and instructional reading level both fell at 8th grade, so he's reading well above his grade level from 5th to 8th grade, where the frustration reading level fell at was the 9th grade. And on the, I'm pretty sure it's the Mozzie-R oral reading fluency measure, his word counts per minute averaged at 167.6 words. He made no mistakes when he was reading. But this is where I noticed that he started reading really fast. It was really monotone, and you could tell that he was in a hurry to get through it. The prosody rubric score that I gave him was a 3. I didn't give him a 4 because he lacked tone, which, like I stated on the previous assessment page, he read through it really quick. So there wasn't a lot of intonation, a lot of tone on it. Everything other than that was really good. For the activity for enrichment, I chose reader's theater so that he could focus on the tone when he's reading. When we did the comprehension questions from the fluency passage, he got 4 out of 4 on those. It was quick, automatic. He didn't even have to think about the story. He just automatically knew the answers. Even on the implicit questions, which is where I thought he would struggle at based on what his mom said about how he usually struggles with deeper meaning questions about comprehension. So for an activity for enrichment on this, I would say a KWL chart before reading to kind of pull him in, help him follow, like, what do I know before, what do I want to learn, and then what did I learn from the reading. On the retelling rubric, he was able to point out all of the main parts from the story. His reading was sequential, and he did throw in some of the facts. The passage that we were doing, I think, was over frogs, but he threw in some of the facts that were included in the reading about that. And the activity for enrichment that I chose to go with the retelling rubric would be a story map, so something that he could use to kind of follow along with, map everything out with the reading that he's doing. And then the main plan for intervention that I chose would have been the reader's theater to focus on tone and reading with intonation, since that's where I felt like he struggled the most. As for the PASS assessment and the phonics assessment, I did not administer it because I did not think that it was needed at all. He didn't really struggle in those areas, so we skipped it. And that is the end of my slide.